Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Monday Night Must See TV with the Hudson Valley Squares. There's Karen as we speak. Let me start introducing the crew. We're going to talk about some of these
Yay!
concerts we've been seeing recently. Let me wait for Karen to get on before we get going. Come on, Karen. Come on, Karen. Where is she? Where is she?
I'm trying.
She's trying. There she is.
I hear her. Yeah.
There she is. All right. It's concert review night. We've all been very busy over the last couple of weeks seeing lots of shows, but specifically, most of us have gone to see the Queensryche Armored Saint shows in various places and the Saxon Uriah Heep shows in various places. So we figured we come on and kind of review both. And Ralph might actually talk about another show he just went to as well. So let me introduce the crew. Craig Kaminsky's in the house. Rob Lasante's in the house. We got Lynn Versace. We got Count Ralphus. We got Jack Toledano. And we got Karen La Preziosa. What's happening, people? How's everybody doing? We've all been
good.
Queensryche and heaping and all this cool stuff of late, man.
I'm recovering.
And denim and leathering.
Yes.
I'm recovering.
You're recovering.
I'm doing.
Yeah, you've been busy, Rob.
I've been busy.
It sucks as you get older, man. You go to like a couple of shows in a couple of weeks. You're like, I need a break.
You wake up in the morning and you're like, oh man.
Oh, and then I missed High on Fire last night, and that bummed me out. That's a show I should have been at, but it's a school night, I can't make them all.
I know. Meanwhile, Steve Keeler goes to like a concert a night. Like Steve Keeler hasn't been home in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's back, right? Remember, he wouldn't go out for a long time.
I know.
Yeah, he's back.
Looked like they had fun the other night though with you guys. It
was great to see
that was
him.
a good time.
In fact, my friends were there. Mind Maze, Sarah and Jeff. They sang. Sarah sang.
Oh,
that was the redhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. That was like Queens. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
I'm so confused. I'm like, are we talking about the other night we were all together?
It's too many things.
Sarah sang.
I was talking about the Iron Cobra.
Who was she? What song did she sing?
I don't know. I didn't see it. I wasn't there. I just saw a picture that she posted.
I was like,
I want you all to know.
What was her name? What was her name?
Sarah T. They're from a band called Mind Maze, power metal band. They know Chris pretty well. I met them in 2008 at Circle to Circle when Chris came down and played with John Olivia down in Yonkers at the Haunt.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and Amanda Cora was on that, and my friend Scott.
You said Sarah? Is that what you said?
Sarah.
So let me ask, was there
Sarah with a T?
Sarah,
what that you had sang?
He said Sarah. He didn't say Sarah.
Oh, well, Karen, Sarah was, I think, the woman who sang Magic Power by Triumph. She was really good.
Love that so nice.
Yeah, they got 3 albums out. I saw them down in the city a couple of years ago. Like I said, I follow them on Facebook. They're good.
Yeah, she was really good.
I went right after her. She was so confident. I was amazed.
Yeah.
They went to Rock Fantasy the next day, and Taylor posted a picture of them at Rock Fantasy the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
What did you think?
Karen was so awesome that night. She had so much charisma. I can't say enough good things.
I need video
her
or
performance.
I have video and
nobody took any videos. Well, you sang Cold Gin, right?
I
sang Cold Gin and it was awesome. I just had so much fun. It was great.
Oh, I gotta see that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The real
One of
question
these days, this is what we got to do. One of these days, when that band plays at Quinn's and does the same thing again, we have to get everybody there, and everybody's got to pick a song to sing.
That would be great.
I haven't done karaoke in a million years, but yeah.
Well, it was really cool when Steve sang Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult, and when he was doing the chorus, the whole crowd was going, "Go, Steve Keeler!" And everybody was yelling for Steve, and just
he posted that one.
It was really cool.
There's a video of him doing that.
It was really cool seeing how appreciative the crowd is, in Middletown there, and for everything that he does, putting on the show, and and everything, and how beloved he is in the town. So it was really cool to see. So if you're watching, Steve, it's great job again. As soon as the show was over, I had made sure I found him to say how much fun I had and everything, and
He's the man.
good job that he did.
He's the
That's
man.
awesome.
I also want to
I
say
wish
while
you
we're
guys
still
were
on
with
this
me
topic,
last night.
what's that?
Wait, what'd you say, Karen?
I said, while we're still on this topic about the karaoke or Cobra calf, it's Craig was great. Craig sang "Flirting with Disaster." There's a lot of words. He owned the stage.
Where's that
You know,
video?
I have a
Thankfully, there is
video.
none.
Oh,
Because if
Chris,
there
you have
was,
the
I'd
same
be
video
watching
of both of
watching
you.
it going,
I'm
oh,
finding it.
what did I do?
There's a few
I'm looking
pictures.
online.
I have a ton of
I'm
photos
looking.
and he did great. He really did. You know, Craig is pretty laid back. He's kind of quiet. And when he went up there, he did it. Like he
I-
really was
I saw
into it. I
pictures
was
that he's
so
like
proud.
pointing to the crowd.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did point a couple. I did point a
I
couple
didn't
times.
see any of that.
And for viewers who don't know what we're talking about, there's a local band called Iron Cobra who do like a lot of arena rock and classic heavy metal songs. And they got together with Chris Caffrey, who is guitarist for Sabotage, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, as Pete has told you all before. He lives in the area. And they got together and they do a live karaoke thing. So they had a list. You pick out a song, you sign up. Kaminsky and I did it, and we did it. We blew the house down, man. It was great.
That's awesome.
That was fun. It's like when am I ever gonna? I'm certainly not a singer, and for me, it was like, when am I ever gonna get the chance to sing a song with a real guitar player, with Chris Caffrey, and I did "Flirting with Disaster" by Molly Hatchet. They were trading solos between them, and so I'm pointing at each guy. I mean, it was really cool. I'll never get an opportunity.
Kaminsky's a rock star for a day.
Yeah, for
it's
5 minutes. For 5 minutes, I was, and of course, I stepped on the microphone cord and unplugged it. So when it came time for me to do the third verse, I start and I can't hear anything. And Karen threw me a save because I looked at her and she's like, "No, it's unplugged." And so
I got you
thankfully,
back.
the plug was idiot proof, so I could quick put it back in. And I it's not like they're going to stop. And I knew where I was in the song just from practicing it, so I just picked up right, and was able to thankfully finish the songs. But
That's
We
like
even
I
sang
gotta
the
ask
song
you,
on our way down there.
how many times did you sing and practice in front of the mirror over the last couple of weeks?
I never,
With the hairbrush?
more, I had the words and then I had a YouTube recording and I would just do that. And actually on the drive over, Karen and I sang the song.
That's funny.
And I said, because I said, well, here's the words. I'm driving, so we sang the song. I said, that's really the
Pete,
first time
we
I
didn't
really
sing
sang.
any songs, Pete, in the car ride.
No.
Or-
Epic
but
fail.
no.
Epic fail.
Well, I can give you this, Karen. I once sang Cold Gin karaoke as well.
How fun is that?
Oh,
Nice.
and I think my best performance was the song "Plush" by Stone Temple Pilots, because I was able
Nice.
to
Yeah.
hit some range there, which was really cool.
Really?
That's it. Sea of Tranquility karaoke.
That's why I'm so comfortable with cold gin. I don't really have to, it's
Well,
gin.
even that requires a little bit of range, but you probably have it. But us guys have to strain a little more.
For that?
Yeah.
Cold gin?
It's cold gin. Yeah,
No, you're singing it wrong. You gotta go, my head is broke and I'm so tired.
I don't sing like that.
Karen, you deserve to give yourself a round of applause. Let's
There
go.
you go. That's gruff Karen right
I
there.
love
All right.
Karen.
Whoa, yeah.
Is that how you did it?
Yeah. For
Oh,
it was
wow.
when I could
gotta
remember.
see that. Yeah.
That was
I had my
awesome.
moments.
It was awesome.
That's dirt. No,
All
I
right,
was
so
just gonna say before
circling back
last
to
night. Wait, I gotta tell you a little story. Last night I saw these chicks do AC/DC at Daryl's house. They were freaking fantastic. You guys would have loved them. I'm not even kidding.
what's the
all
name of that
chick
band? Because they
AC/DC
play
tribute.
all over the place, right?
I don't know, but they're from Seattle, California, and Philly.
Like
They were
Hell's
freaking
Hell's
incredible.
Bells, is that what they're called? Or
Dude, maybe, but they were unbelievable.
Was that the one that they did?
She had AC/DC on her ass and she moved in the crowd. It was hysterical.
Is that
Oh,
the
Lord.
band that you saw? Hell's for Children?
I don't know what they're called, but they were really good.
No. You posted a video. She was singing Hell's for Children by Pat Benatar.
No, that's my girlfriend Cher.
Oh,
No,
You have
that
a
was the
girlfriend
night
named
before.
Cher?
Sure.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend named Cher, and she's a freaking fantastic singer.
I have a girlfriend that looks like Cher.
I watched that video. She was good. Yeah.
She's really good. I should bring her on the show for fun.
All right, so I know everybody here, not everybody saw the Queensryche Armored Saint tour as it came through the area, but we all did see, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but everybody saw the Saxon Uriah Heep, or Uriah Heep and Saxon, depending on which show you saw. So let's see. So we had 4 of us raise a hand, all went to Peekskill, right? So Rob, Lynn, Karen, and myself all went to Peekskill. Craig, you saw them at
I saw Saxon at Penns Peak in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, that's right. And Jack, where did you see them at?
Patchogue Theater in Patchogue, Long Island. That's about a 45-minute drive east of where I live.
With Chris, right?
And
What's
you went
that?
with Chris.
You were with Chris, right, Jack?
Yeah. Chris drove the 3 hours down to Patchogue. I don't know how the hell he did it, because I was cursing up a storm, because it normally takes me a half an hour to get out there, but with the traffic, it took me like an hour.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah, it took us 2.5 hours to get out to the Paramount in Huntington.
Oh my God.
And Ralph, where did you catch them at? Did you go to Connecticut?
I went to Bergen Performing Arts Center in Englewood, New Jersey. It's like the last exit before you would cross the GW to go into the city.
Yep. Exit. That's
Beautiful
why I've seen Queensryche there 3 times, actually.
That's a nice little venue. That's a nice little. So
yeah, I've seen Ace Frehley there, and Robert Krieger there. I've seen and a couple other shows there. Great place.
Did Uriah Heep, because when we saw them in Peekskill, Heep went on first, although they both played headline length sets, but Heep went on first, Saxon second. Did anybody see it flip-flopped?
I did.
Yeah, I think it's the other way.
You did. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think it works either way, right? I mean, either one of these bands can headline this tour, and I think it was great that they gave them both headline length sets regardless of who's opening. So I will say in Peekskill, I don't think I've ever seen more Sea of Tranquility fans in one place at one time other than SOT Fest a couple of years ago at the Chance.
Yeah.
Man, you crazy maniacs were out in full force. I mean, we couldn't.
From the second we got out of the car.
You couldn't go 5 feet in that place without someone coming up and saying hello, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
very,
it was cool.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of people.
And those tacos were really good.
Good call, Rob. Good call with that place, I gotta say.
Tacos,
I didn't call the place. I think Pete did, but
no, it wasn't me.
Was it Nick? I think it was
really.
Nick.
And I actually told another guy he came from Albany, this guy John that I know. He came all the way down to see the show, and I told him to go there, and he said he loved it. So hey,
so good.
But that was my first time too. They were only open 3 months.
I think it was Nick.
We need to meet back there at their friggin' rooftop lounge. That's what we need
for
to
sure.
do.
Yeah, it was a cool place. We ran into Kyle. We ran into Jason Morris. We all sorts of people, man.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people.
Our buddy Kirk was there, right?
Kirk was there as well. Yep, Kirk from Comic Book Easers. Yep, he was there. Yeah, it was just wall-to-wall people, and I don't know. As far as like the set list for both bands, I mean, in Peekskill, I think it was pretty much the same for everybody. But Heap just, I've seen them many times, and they just get better with age. Lynn was like exasperated at how good they were. And
Bernie was.
I was fucking. That drummer, dude. Seriously,
yeah, Russell Gilbert.
That drummer kicked my ass up and down. I was like, "Is this dude underrated or is it me?" Like maybe I just I don't know, but he's fucking unbelievable.
No, you know what?
He smashed it, man.
I couldn't believe that was the first time I saw them, and I said to myself, "What is wrong with you? How come this is the first time you're seeing Uriah Heep?" Because they were so good, so good. I really, really enjoyed that set.
It was my third
that
time.
drummer though, come on, tell the truth.
My second.
Second time, yeah.
Second.
I got to tell you too.
They had Adam Wakeman is playing keyboards on this short tour.
Yeah.
Their regular drummer Phil Lanzon had some family stuff to deal with. So
Adam the keyboard player,
he was great.
He was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Legendary jeans.
Yeah. And he's like a foot taller than anybody else in the band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty tall guy.
So they played, I'm assuming the sets was the same across all the shows. They played 3 tracks off the latest album and then a bunch of classics.
Oh yeah.
I think it was cool. They played like right in the middle of the set. They were talking about how, Bernie Shaw, the vocalist, he comes up to the mic. He goes, "I know you guys all came to hear some good, hard and heavy metal music and whatnot." He goes, "We're not really a metal band, but we do get pretty heavy times." And then he played "Free and Easy" off of this album that we're in the chat for right now. But they played "Gypsy," which just totally rocked. "Look at Yourself," "July Morning," "Sunrise," "Easy Living,"
yeah.
"Rainbow Demon." They played "Rainbow Demon."
Stealing.
Ryan Scow comes running down the aisle, bangs me on the shoulder. I'm like, yeah,
Stealing.
yeah, they play "Stealing." That's right. Yep. And then it "Save Me Tonight," "Grazed by Heaven," and "Hail the Sunrise." Which and "Sweet Lorraine" too. I will say, and I said this to Ryan because I know Ryan and I both seen them a lot of times. I think they played "July Morning" right before the encore. I think it's the best I have ever heard that song. Out of all the times I've seen them play it, it was absolutely amazing that night.
Is that where they had like
Was that
kind of
your
like an
favorite track
extended
from them
jam
that night?
then?
Yes.
And
Yep.
because see,
Yeah.
at my show, they didn't start on time at 8 o'clock. There were some sound issues with Davey Rimmer's bass amp, so they didn't start until about 10 after 8. So as a result, at my show, they didn't play Sunrise. So
Oh.
they skipped that one. So
Oh.
I got
Bummer.
12 songs
Oh.
at my show.
Okay.
But
I
still,
love that
And
song.
yeah, what they did was they took Easy Living and they just kind of stapled it right behind July Morning, so there was no encore.
Oh, so they didn't come back out again. Okay.
So we got the Baker's dozen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can't tell you at the
We got the
Patchwork
Baker's
show,
dozen. That's right.
they did about a 3-minute extended jam during "Look at Yourself."
yeah.
Bernie left the stage and they jammed for about 3 minutes. So
Yeah, they
It
did that.
actually, it actually says that. Where is it on here? Hold on a minute.
Band
Yes.
intros and extended jam section. So
yes.
that might be what you're talking about, Craig, then, because "July
This
Morning"
one.
is a long song, but
Yeah,
I
it
think
says it
"Look at
right
Yourself"
there.
is when they did the jam. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ralph, what did you get over in Jersey? Anything different or pretty much the same?
It's pretty much the same. It was like Karen said, it was my first time seeing them, and I couldn't believe how much more powerful it was live. Like I was listening to, excuse me, I was listening to their CDs for like the whole month leading up to it, and thinking like it's gonna be kind of mellow and stuff, And man, they were right there with Saxon as far as the heaviness goes, and that
Oh, I
extended
thought so.
jam session part, that was incredible. They sounded so heavy. Mick Fox at 76 years old was like so much energy. Singers running all over the place. Biff was the same way, like headbanging the whole time. So much energy for guys so much older than so many bands. I was just blown away by Uriah Heep, and I think they deserve definitely to be the headliners because just because they've been around so long.
Exactly.
And one thing at my show, Biff said something like the first time we ever played here in New Jersey, it was we opened up for a band called Rush, and I guess that was like probably like 1980 or something.
Yeah.
And I'm reading one of the Rush books from Martin Popoff right now, and they talk about their Rush coming to the United States for the first time. Their first like 4 shows are with Uriah Heep, and they talk about how great Uriah Heep was to them, and they let him get a sound check and everything, and then they said they went on tour with Kiss for 2 years, and like on and off, and then they got on tour with Aerosmith, and they said they were total dicks, and they would like give him no sound check or nothing. It was just weird how he says that at the show.
Right.
Biff opening up for Rush first time in the States, and Rush opened up for Uriah their first time in the States. So I thought that was kind of cool. And there was part that we were talking about in the chat group where Chris Allo said that he interviewed Biff and asked him when he yells out, "Does anybody want to hear a slow one or a fast one?" He says, "Does anybody ask for the slow one?" And he said, "No, never." And then sure enough, that part came in the thing. And as soon as I heard him starting it, I looked at my wife and I said, "I want to hear a mid-paced one." And she just like looked at me like, "What?" And
That's funny.
a couple
That's
people
funny.
like, mid-paced, but that was like my joke in the chat group. So I thought I was like, "What?" Yeah, mid-paced. But he didn't play a mid-paced one. He played the fast one. But yeah, great show. I was so happy that I made it to that.
We had
I kept leaning over to Pete, right, Pete? And I was going, all these 80s metal bands that play that are touring Rockville, all of them, these two singers blew all of those guys out of the water. All of them. Every single one. I would rather the
So much
vocally, musically, like I was like, I would much rather see these two than any of my favorite metal bands because they all are not that great. You hear Vince sing, you hear all these guys from Rat sing. Like, no offense, we're all getting older. I don't even sing like I used to, but these guys fucking were unbelievable.
Yeah, they were. I was surprised.
And
Blew me out of the water.
ironically, this was my second time seeing Uriah Heep, and the first time I saw him was in '93, and so that was with Bernie Shaw, Mick Box, Phil Lanzon, Trevor Boulder, and Lee
yes.
Kerslake. And 30 years later, they were so much heavier than they
Right.
were back in
And bitter.
1993. It was crazy. So I mean, it was a really, really good show. And I think even if someone doesn't know any of the songs, or maybe
You have a good time.
even a super casual fan who might just know Easy Living or something like that, I mean, the songs are just really accessible, heavy enough, and just fun to sing along to. And again, like everybody said, Bernie Shaw was great. I mean, he really sounded good, and he really
he
worked
did.
the crowd well, getting everybody to sing along and everything at my show, definitely.
He did the same thing.
Who'd you see him with at 93? Who'd you see him with in 93?
It was a great show. I always tell Pete he would have had the best time at it. It was Blue Oyster Cult, Nazareth, Uriah Heep, and Wishbone Ash.
Wow.
Oh.
In 1990. This was in 1993.
I think Wishbone Ash, don't they play at Daryl's house sometimes?
Yes, they
Well,
have.
and this was the older, this was the still Unite, the two main guys. I'm not sure who else was in Wishbone Ash at the time, but Nazareth, it was three out of the four originals. Blue Oyster Cult had Chuck Berge on drums, and he was phenomenal. He had this huge kit, and so it was a really cool show to see. I always tell Pete, it's like, oh my God, you should have seen that. You'd have been in heaven.
Bill. That's a great bill. I think what was really cool about both sets for Saxon and Heep is that they both sprinkled in a decent amount of newer tracks, and the crowd in Peekskill especially was just as much into the newer songs as the older classics. I mean, Saxon played like Sacrifice, which I think was my favorite song set, which is just kicked total ass.
Crusader.
Yeah, Crusader came out great as well. Yeah, I mean, let's switch over to Saxon's set. I thought they were great as always. They're just so solid always as a band. I've never seen them play a bad set, and a really nice mix of classics and some more recent stuff. And Biff sounded great.
He did.
I mean, how cool is it to see Brian Tatler up there?
Yeah,
because he comes from Diamond Head. Diamond Head has been around just as long as Saxon, so he's like an original new wave of British heavy metal guy too. So I think he fit right in. And those two guys were trading solos all night, and just really good stuff.
There was only one problem though, and I don't know, maybe it was because I was sitting closer than you were, Pete. But in the third row, there was problem with the with Brian's guitar. I couldn't hear it. It was low in the mix, and sometimes Biff was a little bit low in the mix. Yeah, I couldn't hear Biff.
No, I noticed that too.
And
they had problems with that. They had problems with that at my show too, where Tatler and Doug Scarrett's guitars, and even Nibs Carter's bass. At one point, he like left the stage, and it was like they were having they were weird. And I've never had a show at Penn's Peak where they had sound issues like that, where it was you could kind of hear one guitar and not the other one, and it was bizarre.
And Heep was great though. That was the thing. Heep's sound was perfect the whole show.
Yes,
I didn't hear any, I didn't hear any difference in their set. In fact, they sounded even clearer than Saxon for some reason.
I noticed that Bernie sounded better.
I liked him better
than Biff did. Yeah, definitely.
But again, it had to do with the mix. It's not, it wasn't.
Oh no, I mean, Biff's a great singer, and
well, listen, there's probably two different sound dudes, right? So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. But no, otherwise,
the guitars.
My show both
Say that again, Ralph?
My show both bands were perfect. The old theater had like the thing in the ceiling where it's like a big egg shape, and it seemed like the music was going up and coming right down. I was up in the balcony, and I couldn't believe how perfect both bands sounded that night. They were perfect.
Yeah,
The
it sounded good.
cool thing about where I saw this at Penn's Peak was it's one price. You know, they had chairs in there, and so you could sit wherever you want, or they had an open floor area, and you could stand as close as you wanted to the to the crowd, to the band. So we were 8 feet from the stage. That's why the pictures I took were so nice and close and everything, because it was a generally older crowd, for the most part. I mean, and nobody was, throwing each other, or spilling drinks or shit like that, so it was easy to take pictures. Or Jack took a bunch of videos at his show, and I got, some at mine. So it was a cool place to see that you could basically pick wherever you wanted to sit. Or stand.
Or stand, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nice.
One thing I noticed, and I hadn't been keeping up with Saxon in recent years, so the only face that I recognized easily is Biff's. So Brian Tatler. So Chris and I got in early. There was like nobody when we were sitting in the theater, and Brian Tatler actually came walking out to talk to somebody, I guess, who had the meet and greet. And I'm thinking to myself, who is this guy that looks like Tommy Shore's grandfather? But
they are in their 70s. I mean,
yeah, he wasn't in his
hell, I wish I was still running around on a goddamn stage in my 70s,
But yeah, and then I see him up on stage with a flying V as they came out. I'm like, okay, he's one of their guitarists. But yeah,
Wow.
as Craig stated, I took a bunch of videos and I've been putting them up on my channel slowly but surely. I probably will have about 3 more to go up within the next week or so. So check it out.
Did you get Princess of the Night?
I did not get Princess.
Okay, that was the encore in Peekskill, which was great.
Well, you know what it is? I have this crappy iPhone 7, and I didn't want to take the whole concert. I just wanted to take.
Don't want to be one of those guys, Jack. Right?
Yeah,
iPhone 7.
So that's why I took my 4 songs for each band and called it a night, and just sat there and enjoyed. So, and that's what I'll do for my next few shows.
I know Lynn went.
One of the funny things. One of the funny things that happened. One of the funny things that happened at my show with Saxon was that after they did Crusader, this is like, because if you looked at set lists, sometimes they would do Crusader and then Broken Heroes, and then they mixed up sometimes a couple songs like in the middle. So he comes out and he says, would you like to hear Ride Like the Wind? It's a Christopher Cross song. And everybody was like, no. And then he said, or he actually gave a choice. He said, or would you like to hear The Eagle Has Landed? And of course we're like, yes, please, I'd like to hear The Eagle Has Landed. Then he plays Ride Like the Wind. And even while they're up there playing it, you could, like, they had these weird looks on their face, like, why are we playing this song? It was just,
disappointed. We didn't
Long
get
Island
that.
crowd, he gave us a real treat because he did that as well. But they hadn't played, and the band played on for a bunch of shows, so they brought it back for my show, and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, they did Never Surrender as one of the encores at my show. So that was, yeah.
Well, that one he played, it was song 13 from my show. So yeah. Heavy Metal Thunder they brought back.
Yeah.
Pete, not only did I go crazy at Denim and Leather, Pete and I were like, is he going to give that dude, remember? When Saxon, he had the guy's jacket, he had his battle vest.
Yes,
like,
so there was a guy in the front row who had a cool denim battle vest with all these cool patches on it. He threw it up
right in front of me. That was the guy right in front of me.
I actually thought it was yours. I thought it was yours.
Give it back. We did.
I would have gave it. I would have done it too.
I saw he had a green long back patch.
He did.
Signed the guy's jacket. Biff signed the guy's jacket, and then he threw it back.
He did. So the whole story was.
Peter like, shit, I think he's keeping it.
Yeah, it'd have been like that Seinfeld episode. The gypsies ran off with my jacket.
Exactly.
Like 2 or 3. Yeah, I'm telling you. I was like, and then he signed it and he gave it back. So that we thought that was pretty cool.
The thing was, Biff is a big guy, right? And he's already wearing this big, heavy jacket, right?
Trench coat, yeah.
he's holding it. He puts it on top of the mic stand, and we're like, I wonder if he's going to put that on. And Lynn's like, yeah, he's not going to put it on. And all of a sudden, he takes it off and he starts to put on. Like, there's no way that's going to fit. The jacket was enormous. I guess the guy was a pretty big dude. And
It was big.
for the
I'm
whole
gonna
rest of the
say-
show. And then
He
Lynn's like,
did.
is he ever going to give him his jacket back? I'm like, I don't know. Is the guy expecting it back? So finally, at the end of the show, he takes it off. He pulls out a pen and he signs the inside of the jacket and gives
Yeah.
it back to the dude. It was like, how cool
Like
is
I was gonna
He
run
does-
up
he
front
does
and be like,
that-
that's his jacket.
He
That
does
was
that
cool.
a lot, and I think he picks a big guy in the audience when he picks a vest to do. And one of the things he always does is he puts a bunch of picks in the pocket. So the
Yeah,
person, when
that's
he gets
cool.
his jacket back, he signs it, and then he puts a bunch of picks in the pocket. And they
Oh,
give it
that's
back.
cool.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, that's
pretty
nice.
badass.
That's good.
Yeah, I met them in 2017. Those guys were really nice. They're all nice. Then I got to meet Paul because Paul's not touring anymore. And he was kind of quiet, but he was still nice. They're all good guys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he had a great picture with you and Biff. That was a great picture you had.
yeah, but Biff, I'm telling you, he was a great guy. It's funny, after I left to go to the venue and from the taco place, I'm walking by I guess it was Gleason's, and I look in and there's Biff and the band. They're all hanging out right at the window, and I'm like, Biff, like, yeah. It was crazy,
Yeah, it was
I was
good.
a good time.
What was
We
the
had fun.
consensus? Who thought who was better?
I thought Uriah Heep was better personally.
I do too. I think
I-
that's
I
think
vote
this-
for
Blown
Uriah Heep.
away by
I think the
Uriah
sound
Heep.
was better.
I didn't expect them to be so good. So, but
Yeah.
I still think they were perfectly even. They both sounded perfect at the show I was at. I'm more familiar with stuff, but Uriah Heep really blew me away.
That's what I'm gonna say. I mean, I like them both, but I do like Uriah Heep a little bit better than Saxon. So I was prone to that, but they
You
did
said
Sunrise.
Saxon was ugly on. You said Saxon was ugly on his channel, Karen. I don't forget that. You said you didn't
Oh,
like
they
them
were
'cause they were
in
ugly.
the '80s. They were
You
one of
didn't
the
like them.
ugliest bands. I stand by that. I'm
I
not
was
a
like, they're
fan of
not
that at
good
all.
looking.
I remember you
He's not
saying
wrong.
that. on the-
Sausage fest to boot.
Oh, I
Hence the,
know.
hence the reason they
I
didn't
can't
make it
believe you
big.
remember that, Ralph. They were an ugly band.
You know what?
That's funny.
I gotta tell you guys something though. And this is only my opinion, but I think Saxon's been putting out better albums than Iron Maiden. I said it right here.
I think you might be right about that. I mean, maybe.
I mean, because heavier, you don't have these 9-minute epics. I mean, they've had a couple, but not like
Holy
Maiden.
shit. I'm not getting in between you and Nick Franco on that one.
Well, I'm
Ever,
gonna
ever
I'm
since
gonna
like
probably
ever
get
since
a
like
bunch of
Unleash ever since like
salvos
Unleash the
thrown at
Beast
me,
in
but-
'97.
Listen, I love
they've been
Maiden. I'm
really-
not saying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I think Saxon's put out better albums. And more
In
heavier.
the last 20 years, they've been so strong in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
They've gotten better, I think.
You're
Since
100%
like Unleash
correct.
the Beast or even like Forever Free or Solid Ball of Rock, they've been really
Yeah.
consistent, with their albums that there's plenty of good songs on them, and they
Mhm.
do have some variety, on them. Some are more heavier than others, but they're just really, really consistent.
Yeah, I would say, because Jack, you mentioned before that you haven't really been keeping up with them in more recent years. You
Right.
can easily go check out any of their albums from Unleash the Beast and onward, and man, they're all kick ass.
Yeah.
Well,
Even
I
just
did
the last
review that
couple.
last one. What was the last one called?
Hellfire and Damnation.
No, that's this
Carpe
one. The
Diem.
one prior.
Carpe Diem.
Oh, Carpe
yes.
Diem.
Oh,
I
Cobra Diem and
I
then
reviewed
Thunder.
Carpe Diem, and it was great.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna probably get a lot of hate for this, but I think this new one's better than Priest. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
no
I'm going
fucking
there.
way.
I don't.
Well,
No,
that's how I feel.
Nope.
They laid an egg for me this year. I'm sorry.
You don't like the new
You
Priest?
know how I
Ah.
feel about the production on that Priest
Well,
one. I'm not a fan of that.
Maybe it's a discussion for another time, but
We already had the discussion.
as I stated in my
Down
comment,
him.
there's 3 sides to that new Priest album. 3 songs that I love, 2 songs that I don't like that much, and a bunch of songs that I feel like they plagiarized their own back catalog.
What band doesn't do that though?
I know.
There's only so
Well,
many words in the English
hey,
language, bro.
Uriah Heep didn't do that.
Well, Uriah Heep's a different type of band.
I know, but still, I mean, come on.
Well, that's
Maybe
another
one or
thing.
two songs
Uriah
I
Heep
can
from
understand, but 4 or
Wake the
5?
Sleeper up to now have been so. I mean, ever since they got Russell Gilbrook, those albums are great. You know, Wake the Sleeper on through present day. You know,
And that,
great
Craig,
albums.
is why this is such a good tour, because you got two bands in Heep and Saxon who are on this great late career renaissance, that they're perfect together because they can go out and play songs from the later albums. People are into it. They can go play the classics, and it's not just like we're just going to go play the hits type of tour. It's not that at
Yeah,
all.
new songs are
Right.
good. The new
No, it
songs are
wasn't that.
good.
They were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's
I
move
think
on to
by not
Queensryche.
having a third band on the bill too, they get that equal amount on stage no matter what night you see them.
Yeah.
And another cool thing is when I was going to the show, I knew the shirts were going to be expensive, and I was like, the only way I'm going to get it is if they have one with both bands on the front. So that way you feel like you're getting two shirts. And I said the same thing about the next show I went to, and I didn't get a shirt, but it was cool how they had, you could get it with Saxon on the top and Uriah Heep on the bottom,
Yeah, that's
or you
cool.
can get the other way. And it doesn't matter what show you're at, because at my show, Uriah Heep was on top. But I bought the shirt like early, and I said I was like, I want the Saxon one. So that was pretty cool that they did it like that. And
Yeah.
for
You don't see
$40,
that too often.
Well, I this is my. I bought the Uriah Heep shirt. I hadn't bought a shirt in a while, so $45.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
at
it's
least
such a-
somebody was on top and not side by side. So there's that.
45.
Cool.
Wow.
All right, Queensryche and Armored Saint.
Woo!
So Starland Ballroom, I was there with Rich Catino and my brother and Steve Keeler. Craig, you caught them where?
The Keswick Theater in Glenside, Pennsylvania.
Got you. And Rob, where did you catch them?
I caught them at the Paramount in Huntington, Long Island, with Chris Allo and me. And
me.
and Lynn. I didn't even know Lynn was going to be there till, and then all of a sudden we saw her, and I got a story that I got to tell you guys. It had to do with fans. So
Go ahead.
well, so Chris and I were sitting, we're having water, we're just hanging out. This is way before the show even started, and there's these two guys, and they kept looking at us. They're staring at us. I'm getting uncomfortable. I'm like, what's going on here? And then they started walking over to us. I says, uh-oh. And guys said, and then they started to say, oh, you guys from the show, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, wow. I was like, yeah. So a shout out to Ken. I think his name is Ken Parber. He's a big fan of the show and follower, and he loves our show here and all the shows. And it was
He
nice
stood behind me the whole night.
It was nice. Yeah, right. He was right behind you.
Stood behind me the whole night after we
And then
all chatted.
I finally met Lynn's daughter, and we hung out. We took a couple photos and stuff, and it was a great night. I mean, it really was a good night, and getting to see everybody. A couple people that I knew, that were there.
Well, I wasn't there that night, but I've been to a bunch of shows at the Paramount. I guess you guys had a hard time.
I love it there.
Parking sucks there.
No, never.
I had an easy
I've only been there twice. Parking is one block away.
No, I parked right in the parking lot.
Yeah, but we got there early, Jack. Chris and I, we left up here. Chris came to my house and we left at 2:00 from here in the afternoon. And I didn't get there to 4:30 though. It took 2.5 hours to get there.
Okay, if you get there after 6:30, that's when you have a hard time finding parking.
No, we had dinner and everything. We had a nice evening. It was good.
Yeah.
Well, when I've gone, I haven't had to leave that early. I'm only about 25 minutes away, so.
Braggart.
I haven't been there in a long time, probably since the late 80s, Jack.
I love that venue, the whole area.
It's been there that
Oh,
long, since the
wonderful.
80s, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. I've seen other bands there. I've seen Testament, that tour with Exodus and Death Angel. That was a great tour there. The sound there and everything is great.
Yeah.
And we sat upstairs. We got the old, so we went up. I bought the tickets for upstairs, and
They do have
we had a good view. Great view. I was able to get some good shots of both bands, and I gotta say we were lucky because Armored Saint opens up, and they sounded great. John Bush sounded pretty good. I mean, I don't think there was anything wrong that night. And then the next day, he couldn't sing for the next show.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I
Yeah,
couldn't believe it. So he must have lost his voice at that show that night.
I
You
saw him on May 1st, which was on a Wednesday, and that upcoming Sunday they were supposed to play a headlining show at a small club in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. They ended up canceling that. And again, same thing. John Bush sounded great at my show. I mean, he didn't seem to have vocal issues at all. They only played 9 songs at my show, and the only difference I think at mine was they played Aftermath from the Delirious Nomad album. That was the only difference. But
They
the other
played 8
songs
songs
were the same
for
were the
us.
same that were the same
Yeah.
ones that you guys did. Like I think you guys saw them do Standing on the Shoulders of Giants. They didn't do that
Yep.
at mine.
That's John.
Nice.
Yeah, he sounded good in at Starland Ballroom as well, which was April 30th. So that was a little bit earlier. But they did, you know, Raising Fear, Tribal Dance, Last Train Home, March of the Saints, Standing on the Shoulders of Giants, which was great. I loved hearing that. The Killer, Wind Hands Down, Can You Deliver, and Rain of Fire. And I thought Rain of Fire is just such a great closer for them. Such a great song. They're always good. And it's funny because my brother had never seen Armored Saint that he can remember, and he never
Me
really
neither.
played their albums. And he was so into the show. He says, "Man, I got to go out and get some of their albums because this band is so good." That's how much he impressed him. And Keeler was right in front of us. It's so funny
That's
story. So
awesome.
Keeler was like 10 feet in front of us, and he was right on the barricade in front of the stage, right in front of Phil Sandoval, the guitar player. And at one point, this drunk guy from behind where I was standing comes running. So he comes just barreling up during, I don't even remember what song it was. And he goes and stands next to Keeler, and he's doing this and doing this and doing this. And he's like hitting Keeler on the shoulder. And Keeler's like, I'm sitting there watching, like, this is not going to end well. He's going
That's
to clock Steve right in the head. And thankfully, it didn't really happen, but it went on for the whole song. And then the guy just like turned around and left, and we never saw him again. I'm like,
Oh my God.
I was like, Steve was just like, get out of my face. It was just.
Don't you just love those gorillas in the crowd? It's like, you know, I'm in row 12 and I'm filming, and it's got, of course, always has to happen. A guy 6'8" stands in front of me. Luckily, he wasn't really into Uriah Heep that much. So after about 3 or 4 songs, he sat down. So, and I was able to maneuver around him. But I had the same problem when I took Kiss once.
I have zero any bad feels for you. I am 5'1", and if I don't get against the barricade, bro,
But you're a lady. They will let you
I see
through.
people's fucking backs, okay? I see nothing but hair, neck hair, scapulas, sweaty armpits. Fuck, dude. Like, are you kidding? Like, I'm against the barricade.
You're a lady. They'll let you through. They won't let me through.
I gotta flash people to get through. I don't even care. Like at this point, I'm like lifting up my skirt, like, like I'm old now. Just let me through, bro. You know, like what the fuck.
Well, it's funny at my show was at a theater. It was at a theater, you know, kind of like Pete, kind of like the Colonial, you know, type place. But the seats were. It was an older place, but the seats were so small. And they were the kind that if you sit down and kind of like lean back, they really reclined, and like your butt went forward, and
Craig's falling backwards.
So it was I sat there for like one song, I think, of Armored Saint, and I stood up and stood in the aisle against the wall the whole time. And a lot of other people did too, and nobody said anything. And so you were able to like walk up pretty close to where the stage was, you know, if you wanted to, even though it was you had assigned seats and everything. So at least that was good. But those seats were awful. I said to Chris, I said, you'd have killed yourself if you wanted to try to sit in these seats.
Zero sympathy.
I thought
and I yelled at the dude next to me because his buddy let some big girl in. Like after John Bush went off, I like literally ran up to get a water and earplugs for my daughter because she couldn't handle it. It was her first metal show ever. And she bought the tickets for me for Christmas, you know, so she was all excited. I get to see Queensryche with you. She was all happy. And I go, dude, your buddy let this I'm not small, but he let a girl that was like 3 times my size against the barricade. I'm like, oh no, Queensryche's coming on. I'm like pushing him down. Like, there's no way I'm taking my place for that. There's no way.
Yeah, it
No
gets a
way.
little crazy up in the front there. You gotta hold your
It
breath.
was crazy, but I was not. It was like toddler tour. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I can't
No.
do it anymore. I used to be able to stand there for 3 hours. I can't do it anymore. I get cramps in my legs and
Yeah,
stuff.
my
I got
back
nerves.
hurt. Yeah, it's like it's
You know, the
Oh, I
back
have
is
no
killing me.
problem. I could stand for 10 hours at a concert if I have to.
Well,
Depends
that's
on the
why
day.
when I did
You're
for
lucky.
KK Downing, I followed Rich Catino up to the front, and I stayed corner corner front for about half the show, and then I went back with Pete and Rich and Rich.
You
And
guys all have the olds. Karen, are you the only one that could stand up with me?
I can
You
stand
can't
with
stand
you.
up either.
Nice.
See?
I can stand
See,
with
the
you.
chicks could stand all night.
no, it's not that I'm afraid to stand. It's I get claustrophobic when too many people are around me.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
That's
That's a
another
legit
problem.
thing.
But that, yeah.
Start
I can
coughing.
stand, for certain
COVID.
bands, I'll stand.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I don't know who
Tory-
Queensryche ended with. You guys, they ended with fucking Operation Mindcrime at
Yeah,
our
South
show.
New Jersey. Yep.
Yes,
They
did.
ended with the Needle Lies at mine.
Well, the night that we saw them, Lynn, it was the anniversary.
Anniversary.
Was
Yeah.
it 38 years old? Yeah, 38, I think. It
Um,
was. Or
maybe
36.
so.
What was it? What was the date of your
I think it was
show?
36. It was 36.
May 3rd.
Okay, yeah, because I saw it on the 30th. So yeah, it was a couple days. Yes, they did the same thing
Yeah.
on the show as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Todd and I were texting all week, and he was telling me, he goes, "Oh, I hope I'm good for Sayreville because my voice hasn't been too good the last couple of shows. I'm a little worried." And I'm like, "All right, whatever." And he absolutely killed it at Starland Ballroom. And then when I saw him after the
He
show, he goes,
nailed it.
I said, "Dude, you were
Oh.
great." He goes, "Yeah, I was a little bit better than the last couple of shows, but I'm still not 100%, happy with. But it was okay. I was pretty good." I'm like, "Dude, you were
Well,
good. Come on, give me a break."
He was
You know, he
great
said
on
freaking
May
killed it.
1st.
Yeah.
He was great.
He
Great
actually
on May
mentioned it
3rd.
at the show. Remember, Lynn? He said that he said these classic songs are hard to do. He was being honest about it. He said this is not an easy set to do.
No,
Because those songs
the
are
EP and that and Warning
Those are high songs.
back
Those are
night
tough.
after night after night.
yeah,
Yeah.
it takes a toll, I mean, I know he's not as old as we are, but I mean, it still takes a toll on the vocal cords.
Well, just
Not
think about it, Rob. So when Jeff
Not
Tate
we.
was
What do
singing,
you mean we?
well, when Jeff Tate was singing that stuff night after night, he was like in his 20s. Just think about it. So,
Yeah, yeah. Tate can't even sing that now. He can't sing
No.
that now.
So
Yeah.
you're asking Todd to do it. Todd's what, in his 40s. So
Yeah.
even that, it's a Herculean task to do it night after night after night. So,
But
Oh yeah.
I mean, he sounded great.
oh,
He
he
definitely
sounded-
sounded great. We saw him, and the show was incredible. The light show was great. I mean, I just loved it.
That was the first time I saw the Latore lineup. I mean, I've seen Queensryche, I think 3 or 4 other times, obviously all with Tate, between 89 and I don't know, 05 or something like that. And so he was really impressive hearing live and doing classic
I think that
Oh,
songs
was
like
almost
that.
like my.
And just, I recorded, the opening track, Queen of the Reich, and I was like, holy moly,
Oh, yeah.
he's really bringing it. It was really good.
Yeah, they did all 4 songs of the
Beyond
EP, all the Warning, and then for In Jersey it was the Prophecy, and then Operation Mindcrime, and that was the set right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a great show. It really was. I even Chris was like, I could see Chris was into it. He's like banging his head, and it's just one of those shows that you brings you back to when we were young. When we were in our 20s.
Yep.
And because that really they hadn't played it. That's the last time they played all those songs.
Wow.
In the 80s. So
Yeah.
it was
sure
pretty
was.
amazing to get to hear it again.
Yeah,
And
I'm sure
Lynn's
next
video
Even my
was
daughter.
great. Lynn's video
Even
was
my
great when
daughter
they were
liked
doing
it.
Take Hold of the Flame, and she would turn the camera back to herself and say, Take Hold. So that was cool.
I was so excited. I was like a fucking little kid. I don't know. I'm sorry.
That's-
They
that's
messed me up. I can't even be like an adult at all at those shows.
That's my song.
My
anyway.
daughter had a good time. She had a really good time.
It's good.
And she said, she goes, listen, it's not my music. She's like, but mom, and she's got the same feel for music like I do. So she's like, when the lights went out, then they started playing Pantera. right? And you're like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
my God. And then you're getting psyched. She goes, the second that guy walked on stage, she goes, your face lit up like me with Justin Bieber. She goes, I was so happy for you. And then
Well,
he
there's a
sang. She goes,
comparison.
and she almost fell over in her chair, you know, because she's like, I was not expecting those vocals to come out of that dude.
Yeah.
She
How
wasn't.
old's your
So she
daughter,
was able-
Lynn?
She's 20. She'll be 21 in 5 weeks.
Okay.
Well,
Justin
she's
Bieber's
great.
been her boyfriend since she's 6, you know.
I've been to shows with my son, and it's the greatest thing. Yeah.
She bought me the tickets for Christmas. She was like, you know what? This is your favorite band. I'm going to go take you to see them.
That's really
You know,
sweet.
she knows I don't have a boyfriend anymore. So she's like, you're alone. I'm taking you. It's your favorite band. Let's go.
The
It was
boyfriend
awesome.
free club. That's us.
Hell yeah.
All right, to
How
wrap
do
this
I
up,
have to-
I know Ralph went to caught something else recently. So Ralph, you want to talk about the Amon Amarth show?
Yep. But first, I just want to say really quick that I went to see Queensryche on the Warning tour, where all they had was that album and the EP, and they were opening up for Kiss at the Civic Center on Animalized tour.
Yeah.
I was there as well, my
I was
friend.
there.
I was there.
I was there. Holy crap.
I was
That's
there.
right.
We got
And
to
that was
see
the
the
rare
only
show.
shows that Mark St. John played
That's
guitar
the
with
rare
Kiss.
show that
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
and they released
Wow.
that last year. They released the bootleg of that officially for Kiss with Mark St. John. It was one of the only shows that they captured with him.
Yep.
But I still have I have a Warning shirt from that tour. I should have pulled it out, but I
Should've
didn't
pulled
go
it
to
out.
this one, so I didn't think about
Oh.
it. But
Damn.
I seen they had almost the same shirt like for sale.
Do you want to
That was
get
cool.
rid of it?
And was that guy Todd? He was wearing a Slayer shirt. He was wearing a Slayer shirt at
Yeah.
that show.
So cool.
Was Todd wearing a Slayer shirt?
He's
Yeah.
wearing a Slayer shirt.
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah, I have a picture of it, but I didn't.
I think
I,
the last.
I didn't. I didn't pick. I didn't. What do you call it?
I mean,
Yeah.
Todd is actually a big fan of really heavy music. The stuff that he
Oh,
listens to.
That's awesome.
It's heavier.
If you listen to his solo album,
Solo
right?
album, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
I watched the Hell's Hero Fest that Ryan went to, and I was like, wow, this guy is amazing. I really haven't been paying attention to Queensryche since I was a kid, but
Yeah.
I know Lynn.
Shame on you.
That.
The last
But,
handful of albums, Ralph, really good, really good.
Yeah, I mean, everything I hear from the guy is great. And the last time they came around, he was wearing some kind of Real Evil shirt. I forget what he had on that time, but I was like, oh wow, this guy. But he seems like a real good old school metalhead, and he does a great job singing Jeff's. I'd rather see him with him than Jeff again. I've seen Queensryche like 6 times after that first time, because they would just get on so many tours throughout the years. They were with Black Sabbath and Judas Priest, and I've seen a bunch of Jeff tape. I've never seen him with Todd, but I definitely would like to check it out. But yeah, so I went to it was
There it is.
Obituary, Cannibal Corpse, and Amon Amarth at the Wellmount Theater in Montclair, New Jersey. And Frozen Soul was the first band, and they were like so quick. It was like a 20-minute set. They did like 4 songs or so. They were cool. And then Obituary came out, and Obituary and Cannibal coming out knowing that they're only doing like 7 songs, they just go nuts, and they just like nonstop energy, especially Cannibal Corpse. I mean, he was windmilling like he was only up there for 1 song or something. He was going nuts, and compared to like seeing him as a headlining set, and that was the first time I seen Cannibal with Eric Rutan playing with them, and he was keeping up with Corpse Grinder headbanging and so much energy. And the theater is almost the exact same as the other theater in Englewood, New Jersey. They were like built around the same time, I think, and it had the same structure, and the sound was amazing for real heavy music in a big place. Sometimes the music gets a little muddy and hard to hear, but man, they all sounded perfect. And Amon Amarth, they were just amazing. They had a incredible stage set up with a big Viking like head with horns, where the drums are on top, and in the eyes there's like flames and a video screen of like different things going on. And when I was a kid, I seen the same year, or around the same year that I seen the Kiss show with Queensryche, I seen Dio at the Civic Center, one of my earliest shows, and Dio fights the dragon on the Last in Line, and here I am, like how many years later, and 40 or I don't know. It's a lot of years later, but yeah, 40 years later. Is
Yeah,
it,
almost.
24, 84.
Wow.
But anyway, fucking the singer from Amon and Martha, the giant hammer fighting the dragon on the final song. The funny thing was how many people try to get up and they want to beat traffic and they all leave. And then as soon as they leave, all of a sudden this big dragon gets blown up. It's like a balloon, but it's really cool. It wraps around the stage. Its tail's coming out one end. This huge dragon. And it's like, I'm watching, and they had like knights fighting. And so Amon and Martha put on a great show. Very entertaining and just a great. Oh, and one of the cool things is too is when I was down getting a shirt, Robin Mason, who's always like on Rock Fantasy, used to be on Rock Fantasy Files all the time. She's always on tour. She does like Sydney. She goes on tour and sells merch for the band. She was selling the merch for Obituary, but so I got to say hello to her, and I got a cool picture with Terry Butler from Obituary,
Nice.
who is also in Death and Massacre and Inhuman Condition and 6 Feet Under. Pretty legendary bass player. In Death, that was the main thing that he did was you know, the few Death albums that he was on. But it was really awesome. He's a good friend of Keeler throughout the years. He's always used to wear Rock Fantasy shirts and pictures and stuff, and I just never got to meet him throughout the year, so it was nice to run into him. It was a good highlight. And yeah, again, the shirts were like ridiculous. So my wife did get a shirt, a Monomarth one right here, and I was gonna get one if they had all the bands on it, but they didn't have it like that. They had the picture for the tour, but the bands weren't on there. It was only a Monomarth. So I skipped on getting that, and I got a pretty cool other thing though. It's a 12-pack where carrying bag, cooler bag, where they teamed up with Pabst Blue Ribbon Obituary.
Nice.
It's just something different. I got a million T-shirts. So whenever a band is selling something weird, and this was exclusive for this tour. They said you weren't going to get it online. It's like they made it for this tour. So when I see stuff like that, I always go for the autograph poster or even the coffee mug or whatever. Just because I got a million shirts, and now shirts are $40 a shirt. And for Cannibal Corpse, Cannibal Corpse had a beach towel for $50, but it was the coolest beach towel you ever would have had. I would have liked to got it, but I ended up getting a $10 Cannibal Corpse cozy instead. And
I have a bunch of Warhorse cozies.
Oh, they had so many. Each band had autograph stuff. They had $80 hoodies. They had all. Obituary had one of the sickest shirts I've seen in a long time. But $40 a shirt. I'd rather, you know, this. I'm gonna get used out of this 12-pack ribbon bag. So that's
you
it.
Better.
Yeah, I saw other
Pete,
than
I'm sorry, guys. I gotta jump off because the senator just texted me, and I gotta call him back before he goes to bed.
Okay, Lynn. Thanks for
He's
jumping on.
more
Love
important
you
than
guys.
tomorrow.
Gotta do that.
I know, Major. Love you guys. Peace out.
Bye-bye.
later. So I went to a friend of mine bought tickets for Insomnium and Omnium Gathering, and I missed them the last time because of freaking COVID. The day when COVID hit is when we had tickets for the show. So I finally got to go to this, and I didn't realize to the last minute that he told me that we got VIP. So I got to meet the bands, both bands, and it was great. It was a great show. I saw Ken Pierce there, you know, the photographer Ken, and a couple other people that I knew. I have to say that, and then there was a small band from Boston that they're called Wilder Run. And they got a few albums out. You know them, Pete?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, I mean, I heard their music before, but I didn't know that they had 3 albums out, and they were pretty good. They only played 4 songs. I think they played about a half hour, and they kind of remind me of old Opeth. That's what they remind me of, a little bit of, you know, Opeth. And then Omnium Gathering came out, and they did about a 50-minute to almost an hour set, and I mean, they were great. Heavy, you know, the sound was great. This was at the Gramercy, by the way. And then Insomnium was great. I like I said, I've never got that. Now Marco here with the blonde hair, Marco plays in both bands. So he's doing, you know, he's doing I don't know how many songs it was, you know, altogether had to be about almost 30 songs. You know, that's a lot for one guy to do in a night. So, but he was great. And I mean, he solos, you know, like crazy. So he must be exhausted. But this was the last show of the tour. And, you know, I was glad that I was able to see them after, you know, all these years of being into them and everything. So definitely, it was tiring though. With
Keeler
Saxon
was
on
at that show
Friday.
too, right?
Huh?
Was Keeler at that show? He was at the same show as you, Keeler?
Keeler? No, he wasn't at that show.
Yeah, Keeler.
Where did
No.
he go to
Oh,
see
he
them?
went somewhere else.
He saw them in Philly.
Philly, that's right. Yeah.
That's what I was saying in the beginning. I'm
Where
like,
did he see him?
why does he go all the way to Philly? But I guess no, because that night was the Iron Cobra. That's what you guys,
yeah.
you guys were doing.
He always
That
does
was the
something at
night I
Philly.
saw this show. Yeah,
Oh, he was good.
yeah. So it was great to get out for a while. But that's it for me for a while.
Ryan went to see Blind Guardian. I missed
I
High
coulda
on
went.
Fire. There's a lot of bands on tour right now.
Oh yeah.
I got offered a ticket for the day of the show. Somebody offered me my ticket for free. I'm like, I can't do it, man. I can't keep going. My wife is gonna divorce me.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
me
why I
too.
didn't join you guys in Peekskill. Otherwise, I would have been up there.
I hear
All
you.
right, so what about Overkill at Starland?
Who's going to
Anybody?
No, I don't know. I'm not going to any shows until the fall.
Okay, well, June 2nd, Symphony X is coming down to Long Island, very close to me, so I'm gonna
Okay.
catch that show.
Yeah, well, they always put on a good show. I just saw them. What was it, 2 years ago, right, Pete? We saw them.
Yeah.
If that, Rob, yeah.
I hadn't seen them in a few years, but 10
So-
minutes from my house, I can't pass it up.
No,
Oh
and
no.
you should.
Well, that's why this Saxon show was great for me. It's
Yeah.
literally 3 blocks from me.
Yeah.
I could walk there. You know,
When's that
Actually,
Overkill show in-
Rob, Pete remembers,
when-
but I used to live right down the block from that Paramount Theater in
I do
Peekskill.
remember. Yep, I remember that,
Oh,
that
yeah?
apartment complex there. Yeah.
When's that Overkill show, Karen?
June 1st.
June 1st. Okay.
Rich Catino's going to that.
3 weeks.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Trying to convince Mr. Catino to come out to Long Island for the 2nd, but
You know, speaking of High on Fire, I saw High on Fire in Patchogue. North something north. It wasn't that theater. It was like a club, something north.
mm,
You know what I'm
North
talking
Shore?
about?
No, sure.
It was nice. It was I was so surprised. I'm like, Patchogue.
Patchogue?
What's that?
you said in Patchogue.
Yeah, yeah. Now there's a big pinball arcade out there.
The only thing I know other than the Paramount Theater is Blue Point Brewery is out there.
Oh, I don't know. It was a couple
Great
years ago.
place.
Yeah,
Great.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, definitely some good shows.
I got Dixie Dregs and Steve Morse Band coming up on Sunday, and that's it for me for a while.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So,
A friend of
Summer's
mine
just
bought.
begun, and you guys are
I'm gonna go see
calling me.
Trower this year. That's for sure.
I'm
Because
yeah, I'm going to late. What is that? September, October, right? October.
September, yeah, no, October. I
it's
think
October.
I gotta look. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
at the Richfield, which is another nice theater up in Connecticut here.
I have
It's not
seen
too
it.
far. It's about
Yeah.
35-minute ride from me. So
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
there's
going.
3 other shows of note. So I know Asia's coming to Paramount in Huntington. If I'm home that weekend, I might try to go. I think they're with Wishbone Ash or who else? Somebody else famous. I forget who. But
there's a lot of shows this summer.
Yeah, it's Martin Turner's Wishbone Ash and another band. I don't remember who the other one was.
yeah, it escapes me. But then Deep Purple and Yes, I know they've been announced, but
That's-
lukewarm on that one. But then KK Downing and Accept in September. I told my wife we have to be back from our anniversary trip for that.
That was that honeymoon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And
He's like,
David
"Back."
Gilmour is playing. David Gilmour's playing in New
I
York.
saw you posted
in
that.
fall.
Yeah.
That I heard he's only doing David Gilmour though. He's not doing Floyd at all.
Floyd at all, right?
Wow.
That's true or not, but that's a friend of mine told me. So we'll see.
Disappointed if that's the case.
Yeah. This solo catalog is pretty decent. There's some good stuff.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
You'd be surprised. Yeah, at least throw a couple Floyd tunes in there. Would be kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
I would think Comfortably Numb would be like.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the solo. That's the one.
We'll see.
I seen David Gilmour more at Radio City years ago, and it was phenomenal. It was like seeing, you know, the later Pink Floyd. You know, he did so much from the last two Pink Floyd albums, and it was just amazing. He played a ton of Pink Floyd stuff. Be a great show. And then, by the way, that Live Nation thing that they do every year, where they do that big ticket sale, you could get lawn seats right now for like Skinner and ZZ Top for $25 at Bethel Woods, and you can also get the Deep Purple and Yes tickets right now for $25 for lawn. And it's only and it ends tomorrow. It's been going on all week, but tomorrow is the last day for it. So anybody thinking of going to Bethel, you can get Pat Benatar and all whatever is going on up there.
All I want to see is Corey
$25.
Feldman up there. That's it.
Well, I already got my Deep Purple Yes ticket for Bethel. I'm considering going to the ZZ Top Leonard Skinner.
Where you at?
When is that, Ralph? Do you know the Skinner show?
No, I know that's up there, but I forget the date on it. But the summer shows, you know. But I think I love going there. I got to go at least once a year, but I think we got a couple shows. And then, you know, Megadeth, you can get $25 tickets right now for Megadeth up there too. So
Exactly.
you know.
Well, that's right. Megadeth's playing there, right?
Yeah.
That's odd.
I know.
See,
Keeler's favorite
Good stuff.
Mudvayne.
Mudvayne and all that remains. No interest in those two bands, but you know, it'd be cool seeing Megadeth there.
Especially if you get the $25 deal. That's not too bad, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So lots of shows coming up over the next few months and things like that. But more importantly, for those of you watching who have seen the Queensryche Armored Saint or the Saxon Heap or the Insomnium show or the Amon show, any of these shows that we've been to, let us know what you thought of those concerts down in the comments below. And we'll see you back here in 2 weeks with more fun with the Hudson Valley Squares. We've got the show that we were going to do tonight. We're going to do in 2 weeks. And this is talking about some albums, right? Albums, we say albums are bands that define our musical taste.
Our music taste, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Albums.
Albums.
that should be a good one.
Yeah. So that's coming up in this week. So so tune in for that. 5 albums from each of us where these albums represent everything we love about music, right? So however we interpret that, you'll have to wait and see. So till then, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. For Karen La Preziosa, Lynn Versace, Count Ralphus, Rob Lasante, Jack Toledano, and Craig Kaminsky, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time with the Hudson Valley Squares. Take care. Bye-bye.